Well, I haven't done one of these in a very, very long time, probably because not many people were watching me on a consistent basis. But, I'm just trying to revive my channel back a little bit with these because I just want to have a segment where I can just have an audio version of this. So those who do not know, and I hope you guys enjoy the thumbnails as I've done. Listen, I do not do these on my own. I'm not that good at them. There are people who I pay to actually do these. If you can look at it, I got the Prestige 100 icon hanging up with the, like a plaque, right? With the balanced landing, one of my favorite perks I like to use. Of course, my logo's in the back, etc. So, it's your host, Libra Got 90 of the Survivor Side Story podcast. Listen, this podcast is for everyone to just listen. Even if you are a killer man and you dislike Survivor, I feel like there's like a, us versus them, East and West type of mentality in the DBD community. And I used to do like an hour of these. I kind of want to just keep these shorter just to see how they go. But just keep this in mind that this is just mostly audio. All I say is that if you guys do watch these, please just keep this respectful. At the end of the day, we're all gamers. We're all just trying to have fun, etc. So that's just all it is. Now that the intro's out of the way, I want to talk about windows of opportunity and why I feel like and I've always talked about this, but keep in mind, I just want to be clear. I want everybody to understand this. Windows of opportunity is the most used perk in the game at 33% chosen. Right, and you can look at these stats on the website of the nightlight.gg website. That's what it has. I'm sorry, it's actually 34.25% chosen. Second most used perk in the game is Adrenaline, which is at 29.81%, which is a very good perk. Very RNG, and I'll get into why I think it just depends, right? Because if you're in solo queue, you don't have teammates that's gonna do gens, then you might be screwed over. But if you are with a Swift, or you luckily get teammates that actually do gens in solo queue, granted that you can actually survive the chase long enough and not get tunneled or camped out, you should be fine. But then like the third most used perk in the game, which is a killer perk, which is Scourge Hook, which is Pain Resonance. The thing about Windows Opportunity that I like is that in the beginning, and I know I talked about this before, I know it's like a broken record, but it is a Kate Denson's perk, the original perk to see windows literally an opportunity to use them, pallets and breakable doors, etc. But my issue with survivors who just started playing the game is that they just run to yellow. If you ever heard somebody say you just run to yellow, that's exactly what it is. My issue with people is that I don't mind people using perks. Like, even I use it every now and then. But I guess the pushback I get about it is people think that you're not skilled enough to run killer a lot, so you just run to yellow. Here's pros and cons about Windows Opportunity. So first off, in the beginning, Windows Opportunity used to have a cooldown when you fast forward a pallet. I think if you fast forward a pallet, I know if you fast forward a window, it will go away for like 30 seconds or so. Please correct me if the seconds are off. And then I know if you use the pallet or break it or just throw it down, then you'll have a cooldown. Now you can just see it all day. The pros about it, okay, now you can see it all day, but within 32 meters, granted that you have it on the third tier, which is the purple icon that you can have it on. So you can see pallets from a distance. You can see if somebody used that pallet, so that way you know not to run to it. Although I will say, perk that has definitely slept on a little bit, not too much. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, you wake up a little bit on it, which is Any Means, which is the Yui's perk. That is when you can see pallets from anywhere, anytime. Somebody drops the pallet, you can see it. That way you can lift it up and you can reuse it. People should be trying to use that. I'm surprised that's not in the top 10. Most survivors use perk because there are a lot of killers who won't break pallets. They'll try to play 50-50s. There are pallets that you're pretty much screwed over, because people also got to remember too in this game, I don't try to knock RNG. I don't try to knock people using Windows Opportunity, but keep in mind the people who think that you're not skilled enough to use it, they don't understand RNG in this game. RNG as far as generator spawns, RNG as far as pallet spawning. Yeah, that's the thing. That is a real thing. Hell, even Windows. You can go to the same map like McMillan, it's not going to always look the same. You have different versions of it. Not only that, but you have to understand, since 6.1.0 patch, the devs of, behavior have literally changed so much into this game for killer. As far as maps, I mean, if you remember, now they got the East and West Wing to RPD. It used to be like one big map. And they had so many, now I still like RPD, don't get me wrong. They have they have some decent god palettes like in the main building, stuff that you can use. But I will say, using Windows a lot of the time, especially if you're not in chase first, you should be able to see exactly where it is. I want people to understand the purpose of running these perks is to try to last as long as you can in chase. And I would say a decent chase is like at least a minute or so, because the goal is not to, it's to waste time. When you're running killer, the goal is to literally waste time. Like, this notion that you're in a real 1v1 against killer is stupid to me. You need to waste time. And why take all day trying to look for something? Like, here's the thing. Sure, you can run object of obsession, right, if you want. But then you also have killers who like to use lethal pursuer. They already find where you are. They already can see, especially if you're already obsession already. They're just more of a reason for them to get you. Now, I still run object. I think it's nice. But I also think that when people knock Windows opportunity, especially if you're playing, there's a lot of people, I don't know this stat, but there's a lot of people that play solo kill. You got to realize not everybody plays in Swift. Everybody has a lot of friends to play with. So you can't just knock the fact that, oh, well, you know, you have all these call outs. Killers love using this. They love saying that, oh, everyone is just, you know, the information, the comms and stuff like that. Because I do understand that in the very beginning, there were no comms, there were no Swifting. You only had to play solo queue. But the mere fact that, like, even, and listen, the stats are what they are as far as kill rate. I think the kill rate is still at least like what, at least 55 or so percent. I'll tell you this, it's never been below on average 50%, which means killers on average been getting at least 2 kills per game. Whether it's in Swift or whether it's in, you know, solo queue, it's always been that. To make a long story short, I don't want to make this too much, and I would like that doesn't even make sense. I would like to hear what you guys think, or at least read what you guys think in the comments about Windows opportunity. Do you think it's a skillless perk? Do you think, because I'll tell you this, a lot of killers like to say stuff like, oh, well, had you not had Windows opportunities, I would have caught you already because you would have never seen where that palette was. But then I was like, well, we can argue what killers like to use as far as meta. You know, a lot of killers like to run lethal pursuer since Nemesis came out. I think they used to have it where it was longer for you to see in the very beginning of the match, where you can see exactly where survivors are. You didn't have to rely on scratch marks. You didn't have to rely on explosions. You didn't have to rely on hearing footsteps. You literally can just see, not even a crow, you literally can just see where survivors' auras are immediately. They have so many things. Rather, it's Chucky's perk, which is I forgot what it's called. It's when you can see somebody's it's coming. I'm not gonna spend too much time on it, but I know you can, after you hook someone, they become an obsession. You can see their aura, and then like for like 10 seconds after they expose for 20, one of those things. Like a lot of killers, whether that's a good perk or not, it really just depends on like what killer you're using that's really good at teleporting. Because listen, you can be a very slow killer and have that, and it won't matter if your teleporting game is kind of trash. So you won't really get that much value, and then you can just stay away, right? So that way you won't get hit with that. I think it's called Friends to the End. That's the perk what it's called. Yeah, it's called Friends to the End. But I just think that, to make a long story short, to bring it back full circle, I just think that at the end of the day, you can run what you want. But I don't think that you should try to like not learn how to loop. My pushback about Windows opportunity. So here's the thing. I'm for Windows opportunity for anybody to use it. Whether you are a skilled player who have a lot of hours, it just makes it easier for you to try to carry the team. Or even if you're somebody who just brand new and just got the game. What I will say though, is that don't get too comfortable relying on that. I feel like you really hold yourself back. And the reason why I feel like you hold yourself back as a survivor is because, like, you can tell the pathing of certain people. Like if I have Windows on and I can see what a survivor gun, or even if I didn't have it, I could just, if I have Bond or something, I see a survivor running, I literally could see them only going a certain place where they have strong palettes, or just palettes in general. Like they will literally avoid the windows. Like, you know, like windows that, I forgot, it's this one palette that I don't know what it's called. I know it's not a jungle gym, but it's really skinny. It's a palette that stands up. You can, if you drop it, it's a 50-50 immediately, right? And you know a killer can hide their moon, like they can moonwalk and hide their red stand and catch you off guard. But it's automatically a 50-50 if you drop it. But if you don't, you can bypass it and then go through the maze a bit, and then there's a window you can try to fast roll. You have a lot of survivors that will literally avoid this when they just rely on Windows opportunity. And then if they drop it, you already know what they're gonna do, right? They're gonna drop the pallet, quickly fast fall on the other side, and they're gonna panic. See, Windows doesn't help you with that. Windows does not help you understand how to be patient in your chases. That's what I want a lot of killer mains to understand. Windows does not help you be patient. I'm gonna say this again. Windows does not make you, Windows opportunity does not make you a patient survivor in chase. it makes it where you just rely on running to yellow. Oh, there's yellow. Let me just pass over there. But then you don't understand when to see if the killer's gonna respect. Sometimes you have to let the killer hit, not really let the killer hit you, but sometimes you, like I had a ghost face who had me 100% stalked. And I was in, Garden of Joy, and there was the car right there, and I, even though he could have hit me, I didn't just panic, because you have to understand, a lot of killers, they want you to do that, so that way they can just, respect and go on the other side and just catch you off guard. So what a lot of survivors do, they'll path towards a car with a pallet or a strong place with a pallet. They don't care to know if it's a god pallet that's really strong, that the killer has to break. They'll just throw it down. They don't care to know if it's like a really good, it's insane. But the point is there was a pallet, and the killer, Ghostface, had me 100% stalked. Literally, I was patient. I stood there to see how he was gonna play. I got 6,000 hours, close to 7. I just stood there and just waited to see what he's gonna do. Sometimes you have to take that L. If he hits you, he hits you. Some killers play so weird, they will literally just swing at anything. They'll just literally swing at anything. It's so I done had, when those opportunities or not, I done had little time where I could have made a pallet, I could have made the window, but I want to see how the killer respond or respect, because I didn't want to make the obvious play. Because sometimes, let's say you in shack and you run inside, and then there's the window to your left. You don't want to just run and just be impatient with your chases, and then you fastball on the other side, but then the killer respect and then meet you on the other side. You want to mind game a bit. Don't be afraid to mind game. Practice with your friends. Don't be afraid to mind game. But you have people, man, they just swing at anything, and that's just what they do. So you just can't be afraid to just not understand how to mind game. And at the end of the day, I will say this is the last tip. At the end of the day, if you just pay attention to where generators are, they usually have stuff that's there for you to loop around, whether it's something strong or not. They got these filler pallets that are off into the distance. And then guess what? The pallets, it's still going to be RNG. It's not going to always be in the same place every single time. Sometimes, if you go to Auto Haven or certain parts of it, Wrecker's Yard, they have pallets that's off into the distance that you're automatically going to get hit regardless. Not only that, they also make killers like the Knight zone you out, the Crow, the artist zone you out with birds. Again, I don't agree to think that this game is survivor sided. And this is why this podcast is what it is, because I want people to strongly understand the purpose of this game. This game is called Dead by Daylight. Why would I ever think this game is meant for survivors to escape and be killer more times than not? And then the devs think they slick. They make killers to for people like me who knows how to mind game, and we know when to leave a good pallet. Sometimes I feel like I'm about to go inside shack and mind game. I'll lose them around a wall, and then that's when you can lose that line of sight, and then I'll just dip and go the other way, right? Whereas a lot of people, they'll probably try to play it, but again, you have to understand, I have experience. A lot of good survivors understand what they're doing, but they'll also make killers like the Knight, where the killer's you know what? Because to me, if you make a killer that is relying on AIs to chase you around or zone you out, to me, that's almost just like Windows Opportunity. You both have it where you don't want to really know how to do the work. I just wanted something that's easy. Killers will complain. Well, see, this is the hypocrisy of killer. They'll complain what's easy about us and what we use and what's meta and all that stuff, but then they mess around and have meta killers. Killers that are chosen the most because they know that it's just easy to play. Now I'm not gonna say the Knight is top. He's not. I don't think he's even top 10. But it's there's a lot of people that run the Knight because they just don't. It's on easy mode. I'm just gonna sit here and just you're around shack. I don't want to play it. I'm just gonna send a guard that can literally levitate and go up and catch you and hit you. Unless they nerfed it and changed it, I really don't know what else they do. I just think this is very interesting that whatever survivor gets, even if it's a little bit and it doesn't affect the kill rates, killers always find a way to complain. Even though at the end of the day, they have never really lost many games. They look at loss as, okay, I didn't get a 4K, even though I got 3 people out the game. That's still you winning. Okay, I didn't get a win, but I didn't get a loss because I got 2 people out. 2 people died, 2 people left. They don't see that on average, that's literally how it is. So that's just how that is. But hey, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I just want to kind of keep these a little bit short, 15-minute runtime. I don't want to make these too long. If people recommend it's too a little bit, it should be a little longer. Sure, we'll try that. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Do you think Windows Opportunity is like an OP perk? Do you think it carries? Do you think it really helps? I personally think that It's for anyone who wants to use it. But I do think that you should practice without using it and just understand how to mind game. Because even sometimes when I'm using it, sometimes it gets like the bright light of the yellow gets in my way of like seeing what a killer is, especially if it's like a shorter killer. And sometimes, like, you know, maybe I'm looking at the wrong thing. And also too, I mean, I don't know, man. It's just like, you know, when people just use window opportunities and they don't understand, like, you know, the game itself is for you to learn how to like mind get. Like, there's different perks you can use, and when everybody just run to yellow, and like, even think about this before I close. Even when, like, let's say I done got messed over many times where something looked like, I know y'all can attest to this. There were, let's say you in Auto Haven, and there's like that house or that garage with a car in it. There's times it's like a breakable wall there, but from a distance, obviously if you know the map, you know that that's like a breakable wall. But it's like, there's times I'm thinking something's like a window I can get to, or it's like a pallet, and it ended up being the window being in the other side of the garage, but I thought it was right there, so I ended up running into a wall. Or something looked like a pallet, but it was a breakable door, and I just got hit. So a lot of the times I just tell people at the end of the day, still practice, still do what you got to do, but just don't be so self-reliant on that. Still try to learn the game as much as you can. But hey, I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast episode. I hope you guys enjoyed the thumbnail. I'm pretty sure you guys do, because it is pretty fire. And yeah, comment something down below. Let me know what you think. Also, check out the latest video I did with the funny compilation and stuff like that. I'm gonna try to do those like maybe weekly or every 2 weeks. And yeah, have a blessed day out here. Stay safe. And if nothing else, peace.